The Mariners have their eyes set on Christian Walker, and they've found a direction that can get them there. It is a bit confusing and honestly a little unfortunate of the direction that they feel like they need to take to be able to sign a 33, 34-year-old first baseman in free agency that won't cost more than $20 to $21 million on an annual average on the higher end of that market. But the Mariners do have an avenue that they think that they can create to sign Christian Walker to be their everyday first baseman and allow Luke Raley to either be a third outfielder and allow Randy Arozarena to DH, or just have Luke Raley DH. Doesn't really matter, but regardless, Christian Walker joining the Seattle Mariners would be a plus for the offense. Also, defensively at first base, he's won 3 consecutive Gold Gloves. So, yeah, signing Christian Walker, and it just makes a lot of sense. A lot of people had him on their offseason wish list, and it's a guy that he has been proven that every single season he can just come in, give you an OPS over 800, hit about 25 bombs in a fully healthy season, maybe even 30, and give you Gold Glove caliber defense at first base. The avenue of which they have to go to clear the space to sign Christian Walker, because the reports are that the Mariners are interested in him, but he might be a little too rich for them. He might be a little bit above what they're willing to pay with their current flexibility as far as payroll is concerned. The obvious rumor that's been circulating is that the Mariners have been shopping and trading Luis Castillo. Starting pitcher, was once the number 1 in the rotation, maybe has fallen down to the 2 or 3 depending on who you ask, but is still a very dependable guy in your rotation to give you 170 innings, 180 innings, make at least 30 starts around there, and pitch to the tune of like a 3.5 ERA pretty consistently while striking out a ton of batters and having a pretty solid mound presence. He is making $24 million as the Mariners extended him after acquiring him in 2022, but that $24 million, it seems like the Mariners are willing to trade, because that allows them to sign Christian Walker, or just have more flexibility in the free agent market regardless. There's a little bit of a caveat with the Mariners having to get Luis Castillo to waive his no-trade clause, but with the clear interest in Christian Walker, as Peter Gammons has kind of laid out on Twitter recently, the hitter the Mariners would love to get is Christian Walker, which for now is out of their price range. As another GM suggested this morning, Craig Breslow is tireless, he's really smart, and if he can clear Castillo's money, give Seattle help elsewhere, and allow them to get Walker, maybe he gets Castillo. This is in reference to the Boston Red Sox. Obviously, the big rumor circulation that was going on Wednesday this week was that Castillo for Cassis was a potential trade that was being discussed. People on Seattle side think that they should get more than just Tristan Cassis. People on the Red Sox side think that they should get more than just Luis Castillo. It's a bit of a hard trade, and with the Mariners having their eyes set on Christian Walker with the following move after they clear Castillo's money, it doesn't really make sense that Tristan Cassis is the way there. Maybe there's a option for a Willie Abreu or some sort of active second baseman on that roster of like David Hamilton. I don't think Rafaela is going to be available in that situation either. So the Red Sox, I'm not sure if they're a big enough fit for the Mariners, but if there's enough that they feel like they can get in a trade for Luis Castillo that doesn't add a bunch of money back onto their payroll, of course, the Mariners then could go sign Christian Walker to be their everyday first baseman. Christian Walker, 2024, a lot of red. I know savant bubbles don't necessarily mean everything, and you can kind of see it on the screen, but the spray chart is a lot of homers out to left field, where we know that, one, T-Mobile Park is not as hitter-friendly as Chase Field. And also, you want that kind of profile to be of a left-handed bat. That pull side out to right field in Seattle is a lot easier to achieve than in left field. None of these really look like cheapies, however, looking at those home runs there. But we'll go down and look at his home runs by ballpark just for the sake of it, you know? So last year, in 2024, he hit 26 home runs. Only one less would have happened in Seattle. You look at the previous 2 years where he hit 36 in 2022 and 34 in 2023. Those would also just go up by 1. So it doesn't necessarily seem that these career home runs would be awfully adjusted. I mean, his career is 147. In Seattle, expected home runs by park adjusted, he'd be at 148. So it seems like Christian Walker can and should theoretically be able to hit in T-Mobile Park. The hard part is are you going to be able to get enough in the Luis Castillo trade to then make signing Christian Walker for just a little bit less money than Luis Castillo worth it in the long term while also managing to refill that back end of the rotation spot. Now, Colton tweeted this: a lot to unpack here. Most importantly, the Mariners should explore avenues that don't involve the Red Sox as well. If Walker's the goal, then Casas truly does not fit. Not many players in Boston fit beyond Casas, in my opinion. The Cubs still make the most sense. Thinking about Nico Hoerner involved there. Redeem and Weep. Nico and Wicks / Assad for Castillo frees up money to. Agreed. Colton then responded as well: if the Cubs offered Assad and Nico for Castillo, he'd accept that in a heartbeat. I would as well. I don't know if the Cubs would offer that. There's a lot of control to be had with Javier Assad, and obviously Nico Hoerner is a $12 million second baseman who penciled in for about 3 wins every single year. That's more than Castillo earned from a WAR standpoint in 2024. But it's an interesting avenue that kind of allows you to upgrade at second base, and then you sign Christian Walker at first base, and you've already got your 5th rotation spot backfilled with Javier Assad. I think you do have to give up more if you do get Wicks or Assad and Nico. It's not just going to be Castillo. I think you'd have to give up another piece, in my opinion. What the Cubs want in that situation, I'm not entirely sure. Could be just a prospect that could help them go acquire Kyle Tucker or something. I'm not really entirely sure. But the fact that the Mariners are so in on Christian Walker after wanting to maybe acquire Tristan Casas, it's just a little confusing for me. But Christian Walker, I mean, he'd be a fine upgrade at first base. $20 million for a 34-year-old. It's a little pricey, but Nate Eovaldi just got 25, same age, or roughly the same age. Upgrades at first base defensively, offensively, gives you more depth in the lineup. Christian Walker being a Seattle Mariner would be a plus. I'm just not sure at the cost of trading Luis Castillo. It definitely does depend on that trade package that would be coming back. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. If you think a trading of Luis Castillo to then sign Christian Walker would be worth it, because you're only going to be saving about $4 million in that complete transaction, not including the players that you'd get back in a trade. If you get Nico Hoerner, you're only saving $13 million in that trade for Luis Castillo, meaning you're -7 by signing Christian Walker. Kind of just depends on how that trade package fills out. But again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Appreciate you guys watching this one. The Mariners signed Christian Walker, first baseman for the next couple years, baby. Let's go.